Welcome to the Women Healing Podcast, a place to discover the power of who you are, what you want, and have the most fun having it all on your terms without doing it all, so you feel wildly successful in every area of your life. My name is Michelle Kanan. I'm a somatic therapist, neurolinguistic programming practitioner, and wild feminine embodiment coach, and it's time to set yourself free so that the world and your man always give you what you want, or even better than you can possibly imagine. Here's how. I think I've been waiting this entire season to record this episode because this is probably the absolute worst advice that I hear so many coaches and teachers and even therapists give their clients that I have to call BS on this one. And I need to do it on the pod because everyone that's listening, you have to know, are you ready to open your mind? Are you ready to free yourself from the most ridiculous message and cage that you've been put into? That is one of the biggest reasons why you're not getting all of the things that you want in your life, in your relationship, in your career, as a mom, as a woman in this world. Are you ready for this? I bet that your whole life you've been told to compromise. You've been told to meet in the middle, to find a way to make it work for everybody, to find a happy medium where you get some of the things that you want and then other people get some of the things that they want so that everybody can be happy and move forward and we don't rock the boat too much. And let me just start by saying this is such utter fucking bullshit. I just have to say it because let's think about compromise for a moment, right? Compromise is asking yourself and other people to agree to things that you don't really want to do and that they don't really want to do either, to find a place where you can both be sort of happy and kind of get by and keep things moving forward, but that you have to swallow your dissatisfaction. You have to put a smile on your face and say, it's okay. It's good enough. I'll keep it moving. And why? When did it become more important to keep things together at the expense of your satisfaction than let certain things fall apart so that you can rebuild and create exactly what you want? And so that the people around you can build and create exactly what they want to. Because here's the thing, we're living in a society that is telling us that if you have everything that you want, it's somehow going to take from other people, right? Like the happier you are, the worse off other people are. And I got into a huge thing online with this woman that got pissed off. I put up a post that said, hey, if you're happy in your relationship, like celebrate, share why your partner is so awesome. And this woman had the audacity to come on the post and say, all of these women celebrating how good their relationships are making other women feel bad about what they don't have. And it's like, okay, I was going to say I couldn't believe it, but of course I can believe it because so many women are existing in this mental prison where you've been taught that somehow your happiness will take away from others, where if you get what you want, somehow it'll take something away from somebody else, as if there's a finite amount of happiness or money or possibility or good things in this world. And that's the first misconception that I want you to drop right now, right? So many of us were operating within the confines of what we know and what we believe. And in order for things to be different, well, it's as easy or as simple rather. Well, it's as simple as bringing in new beliefs that create your new reality. For example, religious people are really good at this. They have set beliefs. They really believe them. And because of those beliefs, they make things happen, or they act a certain way, or they say certain things, or they create certain lifestyles, right? You need to believe and you need to understand that you getting what you want and you having what you want and you being as happy as you want to be and you making choices that benefit you doesn't take away from anybody else. In fact, it makes things better for other people. And I'm going to explain why. So a lot of my clients come to me because they're not getting their needs met in some area of their life, usually all areas of their life, because I'm a pattern hunter, as you know, and wherever I see one pattern occurring in one part of someone's life, you can be pretty sure that it's occurring in the other parts of their lives too. And I like to think about it like that game at the carnival, the mole whacker game, right? You smack one mole and you're like, I got it. And then he pops up in another hole, and you got to keep smacking. I mean, that's what it's like to uncover patterns. But once you uncover it, God, it's so easy and it's so fun to start to dismantle the limiting things in all areas of your life so that you can have what you want. So a lot of women come to me because something isn't working. So let's use the example of marriage, right? There's a lot of women out there, we talked about this in the last episode, that aren't getting what they need from their partners. And they're telling themselves, right? Well, it's okay, or that's just how it is, or that's how men are, or, you know, it's happening in everybody's marriage, so I guess it's happening in mine, no big deal. But what happens over time when you're not getting what you want? Resentment starts to build. And you start to create this story, this dialogue that runs in your head where you're almost expecting that disappointment. And then you're using your strategies, your survival tactics to get through it. Why? Why are you doing that? You don't have to do that. One of the things that I teach my clients is how easy it gets to be to get everything that you want in your relationship. And it starts by dropping your automatic reaction, this training that you have, to put up with it, to compromise, to say, well, that's not such a big deal. I'll get over it. It is a big deal. You are living a life. You are running a pattern where over and over you are agreeing to things that you don't really want and that you don't really want to do. And it's setting a precedent, not just in the way you live, but in the way that other people are allowed to treat you. So think about it. Think about something that you're putting up with in your marriage or in one of your relationships that you don't really want. Maybe you're doing chores that you don't really want to do, right? Like I know in my relationship, I hate cleaning out the bottom of the sink, right? I'll take out the garbage. I really don't mind that at all. But cleaning out the crap that gets in the bottom of the sink after doing a load of dishes, like, oh, I don't want to do that, right? Like, let's just use that as an example. For many years, I did it and I hated it. I hated every moment of it. It was so gross. And I really resented my husband for it because he would do like a full sink of dishes. He would wash them all, put them away, and then he would leave the gunk at the bottom of the sink. And so what did I do? I did my strategy. I toughened up. You can't even see it. I'm recording this on video. I'm making this face like, oh, I don't want to do this. And then what did I do? I would freaking do it anyway. I'd put my fingers in the bottom into that wet, slimy, gunky food waste. Ugh, and I would clean out the disposal. And I hated it. And I was so annoyed with my husband. It was just like, dude, if you're going to clean the dishes, like finish, do this. Why do I have to do it? And that question was my biggest mistake, right? One of the things that I teach my clients as a neurolinguistic programming practitioner is to ask questions that get us results and that get us what we need. And so a question of why do I have to do it puts me in a position, right? How many of you ask yourself like, oh, why do I always have to be the one to do it? We're putting ourselves in a position where we have to be the one to do it. We're presupposing that that's my job and I have to take care of it. And if I don't do it, nobody else will do it, right? You're here because you want to be clear about what you want. You want to be clear about who you are. You want to be clear about how you want to feel and what you want to experience in life. And you want to let it be simple and just have it. And yet for years, you're probably doing something very similar to my kitchen sink ridiculousness. You're doing something, you're presupposing that you have to do it, you're putting up with it. I was telling myself stories like, well, at least he did the dishes. And so I was compromising in this way, even though I hated it. And so over time, it really pissed me off. And I had this whole story in my head about him. And I got really annoyed about, well, as a woman, why do I have to do these things? And why do we always have to pick up the pieces, right? So many women are running this BS narrative in their heads. And the reason why is because you're agreeing to it. Every time you give in and you do something that you don't want to do, you're agreeing to the dynamic. You are raising your hand and volunteering yourself for the thing that you don't want to do. And then you're wondering why you keep having to do these things instead of simply stepping out of that pattern and doing something else. And let me tell you, when I finally told my husband, I was just like, look, I hate doing that. I'm not going to do it anymore. It didn't come from a place of anger. It didn't come from a place of he was my enemy. It didn't come from this place of like, fuck you, right? Because if you bring that into your relationship, guess what? That's what you're going to get back. Whatever you put in, that is what you are going to harvest later on. It was just this simple truth when we started bringing into our relationship that we're not going to compromise anymore. We don't want to get in the way of each other having what we really want and being who we want to be and experiencing life in the way that we want to experience it, whether it's like crazy big milestones or little things. And I'm saying little things with quotes because those little things add up that don't make us feel good. And so I told him, babe, I'm not going to do that anymore. We need to find a different solution. And guess what I got for Valentine's Day that year? An incinerator garbage disposal. That's right. Be jealous, bitches. That was the best Valentine's Day gift ever. We have a disposal in the bottom of our sink. I never have to compromise. I never have to clean the bottom of the sink again. And this is just one example that I wanted to give you of how simple it gets to be when you just decide that you don't have to do anymore the things that you don't want to do, that you're not going to compromise on those things. Because think about your life. Your life is made up of all these tiny little decisions and thoughts and actions and your communication, teeny weeny, right? Everybody thinks when you're making change, like if you're going to live your best life, if you're going to have it all, a lot of people think that you have to blow up your life. I call it the eat, pray, love conundrum, right? You think that you're going to have to quit your job, divorce your husband, move to Bali, eat all the pasta in Italy. You think that you're going to have to blow up everything in order to have the things that you want in your life. And look, if that's what you want to do, more power to you. I will support you all the way. But for those of you that actually want to stay married and maybe you like your home and you like your family and your career is pretty good, you might want some things to be different. You might want to make more money, but you don't want to have to like blow up and destroy everything. Perfect. I've got you, because it's just the little things that you get to do every day that are going to add up to make this ripple effect that's going to create this incredible change in your life. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I am so ready to have it all and feel really good every day without compromising ever, then go to www.haveitallqueen.com to dive in and get started. Okay, back to the show. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I am so ready to have it all and feel really good every day without compromising ever, then go to www.haveitallqueen.com to dive in and get started. Okay, back to the show. But you have to stop agreeing to the things that you don't really like. And you have to stop swallowing and pretending that it's fine. I hate that expression. It's fine. It's not fine. And it's okay for it to not be fine. But until you woman up and admit it, until you're honest with yourself and you're honest with the people around you, nothing is going to change. Imagine if it could just be easy. Imagine if you had this way to check in with yourself and understand, hey, I like that. Cool. We're going to keep going. Or, hey, I don't like that. I don't want to freaking do it anymore. And also cool. See, for most women, you get afraid. You get afraid if it's time for you to share your dissatisfaction, if it's time to speak up, if it's time to say, hey, that's not right for me, because you've been taught that in order to have change happen, you need to fight, right? You have to fight for your rights. You have to demand what you want. You have to break the glass ceiling. It's a lot of heavy, violent, or just really hard energy. You've been taught that you have to push really freaking hard and get mad if you want to get your needs met. And the thing is, sometimes you do, right? Sometimes people don't want to listen. Sometimes we need a movement. We need a march. We need to get loud and get angry. But what I'm trying to teach you is about something that I call personal activism. And that's the changes that you make in your life and in your family and in your home that creates the change that you want to see, both for yourself and for your family structure and for everyone that's lucky enough to know you. I often tell my clients that there are real ripple effect in the lives of everybody that knows them. Because so often when women work with me, it's the first time that they have permission to do all the things that they want to do, to say the things that they want to say, and do it from a place of loving themselves deeply instead of thinking that they need to fight the world and fight their partners in order to get what they want. So I'm going to give you a really fun little assignment that I want you to do. And I want you to identify something in your life right now that you're compromising on, that you're not willing to compromise on anymore. And look, it might be something really huge and you might be like, but shit, how am I supposed to do that? I can't. And if that's the case, take a breath. And I want you to go smaller, go micro. And because I promise the micro changes can have such an impact and ripple effect as much as the big ones without activating your nervous system and sending you into a tailspin. Let's start simple. Let's start with something that you're like, yeah, I'm really ready. I'm not going to compromise on that anymore. I'm done putting up with that. Can you feel how that just gets lighter and simpler and easier already? That's the point, right? Whenever I tell you, I just like it to be simple and fun and easy, and you just get to do it, right? A lot of women, they're like, it can't be easy. And I'm like, girl, listen, let's make it easy, right? When things are easy, when they feel good, when you're like, yeah, I can do that. That's when the change happens. That's when you make those shifts without it feeling like it has to be so heavy and you don't have enough time. And how the fuck are we going to do there? Let's start small. And then once you've identified that thing that you're not going to compromise anymore, I want you to get right with it. Okay. Because for a lot of women, you've been taught that you have to do things in order to be good, a good wife, a good mom, a good woman, a good employee, a good daughter. And I get that. We want to be good. And simultaneously, we need the space to be good, not for other people, but to be good to and for ourselves. Because everything that I'm teaching, the reason why it works is because you're not doing it to spite another person or to prove something to someone else or to take a stand against anybody or anything. You're doing it because you love yourself and you honor yourself and you know that you're worthy and you know that you deserve it. So once you identify this thing that you know that you're not going to compromise on anymore, I want you to sit with it for a second and just feel into it and let it be okay. Let yourself be okay with this decision. Feel who you are now that you're deciding, I don't want to put up with that anymore and I don't have to. And get right with it. Feel okay about it. Feel the immense amount of love and respect that you have for yourself because you're willing to do that for you. Now, once you're ready, the final piece is you're just from this place of self-love, self-respect, just, yeah, of course, I'm not going to do this anymore. Of course, I don't want to do this anymore. You're going to communicate to any other involved party that's in this dynamic or that's in this situation, that's involved in this. Hey, I'm just not going to do this anymore. It doesn't feel good for me. And we're going to need to find another solution. And then you're just going to let it go. Well, the next thing I want you to do actually is run over to Instagram and shoot me a DM at Michelle Kinan. That's my name. And you're going to tell me so that I can celebrate you, so that we can get so excited together, so we can stay in the momentum and the energy of you breaking this pattern and stepping into your I don't compromise anymore energy. I get everything that I want energy. Life treats me the way I treat myself energy. And we're going to celebrate it together, because that's a really important part. And that's absolutely something I'm constantly doing with my clients is we're reinforcing the rightness and we're building momentum and excitement around all of these changes that we're making all the time, so that it feels easy, so it feels fun, and so that life gets to meet you in this new place and a new possibility gets to happen. And I see it over and over again, right? I have so many clients that they did relationship coaching or therapy, or they are having hard, honest conversations with their partners, and their partners are like, yeah. But then after a week or two, everything slides back to the way it was. But that doesn't happen with my clients. And the reason is because they're not trying to change their partners. You're not doing this because of him or because of your boss or because of anything else. You're doing this for you. You're taking a stand for you and you're loving yourself into this new change and this new era. And then you're inviting the people in your life to meet you in this new place. Now, why is that good for other people? Because a lot of times when you're in a dynamic or a pattern that feels limiting and restrictive to you, not only are you stuck, but the other person is stuck too, whether they know it or not. And if you think about your husband or the man in your life, of course he wants you to be happy. Of course he doesn't want you to feel frustrated and doing things that make you miserable for many reasons, one of which is because he doesn't want to be around a frustrated and miserable person, right? Of course he wants you to feel good. And so when you step out of compromising and accepting less and doing what you don't want to do and take a stand for yourself, not against him, but for you, what it does is it invites him in because it creates a new space for something new to happen where he gets to come up with a solution or act different or have a new thought or the dynamic changes and he has the opportunity to do or be or act in a way that feels good for him if he chooses to do so as well. And this is the biggest reason why compromise is such bullshit, because what you're doing is you're agreeing to something that you don't like that probably the other person doesn't like too. And when I say that you get to elevate and you get to live in a way that's not only better for you, but it's better for everybody around you, it's because you're creating these opportunities for you to have what you want and for other people to come and play with you in that energy of possibility, of creation, of partnership. And that's when magic gets to happen. That's when new things get to happen. That's when you get to be the person that you want to be and your partner gets to be the person that he wants to be. Your kids get to show up in that way, your employees, your bosses, like everybody. And you get to be the start of that, not because you have to be, not because you're always doing things for other people, but because you're finally doing all of these things for yourself. You're loving yourself into your next level and you're getting absolutely everything you ever wanted. No compromise necessary. Woo! Doesn't that feel so much better already? I am so glad that I got to share this with you. One of the most important things for me is that I don't gatekeep any of the information that I teach my clients and the women in my Wildly Successful Women program. And I've been waiting to record this and share this with you. And I cannot wait to hear how it's going to transform your life. So don't forget, meet me over on Instagram, shoot me a DM. I can't wait to celebrate you. And stay tuned for a little gift that I want to offer you that's going to make it even easier for you to have absolutely everything you want in your life. See you in the next episode. Thank you so much for being here and listening to the pod. If you're ready to have it all while feeling absolutely amazing every day, because of course it gets to be this good for you and every woman on the planet, then go to www.haveitallqueen.com for a free gift from me and some juicy next steps. And if you're feeling this mission, that every woman is truly fulfilled and gets to live, play, work, love, and enjoy her family and life in a way that's healthy, expansive, exciting, and fun, it really helps if you write a review and share this pod with your friends, because our goal is to reach over 1 million women and change what they think is possible for their lives. So write a review or share with your friends. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.